Can you talk about what role does physical location of AI inference matter or play a role when it comes to performance, latency, and most importantly, cost? Because cost is going to become a very big factor because as there are reports coming out, it's actually cheaper to hire an employee than to use AI.
That is true. I mean, the first thing that I would start with, and you're absolutely right about the way that some people are modeling applications, distance does come at a cost. And a lot of times you're going to price that cost at zero because when you're modeling your application, you're thinking about things like what is the workflow that I'm enabling or what is the output of a given function or a given prompt supposed to be and really focusing on that. But every time a request crosses a zone or a region or a cloud boundary, you're going to pay twice effectively. The first time you pay, you're going to pay for latency. How much is my time to first token? What is the overall time that I'm going to expend consuming all of the tokens from my request and response? The other one is the transfer fees that basically are not part of your token price. It's what you're charging anytime that you need to move data either between microservices, overall services, or other cloud boundaries. And if you think about that latter piece, cross availability zone traffic can run a penny per gigabyte in each direction. So if I'm going to be sending data from a model to a set of GPUs that are deployed in a different part of my architecture, and then as part of that workload, I'm going to be sending either, some of my embeddings back to store, or if I have to go and call other services along the way, I am going to pay, again, penny per gigabyte each time that I send that data across. Egress fees then, if I send them across the internet, are 9 to 12 cents each. So there's a sort of tension between how do I build my application to take full advantage of the cloud capabilities that I know how to build on or the different providers are making available. Does it make sense for me to keep my workload on a given cloud? Or where I have to cross cloud boundaries, am I ready to incur that 9 to 12 cents per gigabyte, understanding how my app needs to scale? So things like latency and egress, that's not physics. That's not the speed of light. That is an architectural choice that you're built for as though it were physics. The physics is what you have to think about. And again, where people are building AI applications and afraid that they don't have a frame of reference for what they're building, they can look at the last 10 to 15 years of building distributed cloud apps and understand what does data movement cost me? And then really start to think, to your point, when I move from a prototype to production, how many zones do I have to move from and to? Where does my application need to be? And one of the levers that we treat late in that cycle, late in that consideration phase is cost. And I would argue that you have to really bring that into a lot of your user and scalability testings before you launch your app.